Okay, so good evening and welcome to our December meeting. This is one of our favorite meetings as we get to recognize some well-deserved nonprofits here at the beach and get to learn about all the hard work that they're doing and wonderful things that they have been doing and plan to do. Before we get started though, I'm going to go ahead and just make a few brief announcements. So we are recording our meeting as we always do. It will be on our YouTube channel tomorrow. We are always running our membership right now. You can still do your early bird renewal by December 31st and be entered into a drawing for a really nice prize to be determined. So it's $15 individual, $20 for family, and we have a $5 student membership. They are yearly, going from January through December. You can renew your membership tonight with our lovely membership director, Eileen Krimsky, in the back, or you can go online and do a donation or membership online. So let's go ahead and recognize our elected officials. I have to give kudos to AB representing here. We have our newly elected Mayor, Curtis Ford. Commissioner Candace Kelly. And just because he's sitting next to them, I'll have to recognize Deputy City Manager Kevin Hogan-Camp. And always we have Sandy Golding. She wasn't reelected, she actually ran unopposed. So she is our Jacksonville Beach City Council.
Well, they still love me, right?
This is considered also our annual meeting, so this is when we have to reappoint or take nominations from the floor for board members. Before we go into the reappointment phase, I want to see if there are any nominations from the floor. In order to qualify, you must be a member of the Beaches Watch for at least 3 months prior to January 1 and be in good standing. So, are there any nominations from the floor? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. No nominations from the floor, so nominations are closed. Reappointed as myself, Maria Mark, as president. My term will expire December 31st, 2024. We are appointing Beth Lightsey. She has been on our board before. She's coming back as our treasurer. Her term will also expire December 31st, 2024, and Joyce Freeman, our board member, and our membership director, her term will expire 12/31/2024. We are also seeking some positions to be filled on the board. If you have any experience, or you might know someone you'd like to volunteer to join our board, we're looking for people with experience in accounting and finance, membership recruitment and retention, and public relations and marketing. So kind of keep that in mind. We're always trying to build our board so that we can continue to bring these quality programs to you. So without further ado, if there's no nominations from the floor, if I can get a show of hands or a yay of approving the appointment and the reappointments for the board members.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay, okay. All right, we've been reappointed and appointed for another 2 years. Very good, okay. Let's see. So let's just want to go over the beach's election results. In Atlantic Beach, Curtis Ford was elected as our new mayor. Candace Kelly was re-elected as commissioner, and Jessica Ring was elected as commissioner. Neptune Beach, Josh Messenger was re-elected, and Mia Livingston. And in Jacksonville Beach, we had Sandy Golding, Bill Horn, Corey Nichols, Greg Sutton, who was appointed to fill Chet Stokes' seat. So we want to congratulate all of our new officials and those who won the re-election. Deck the chairs. So this is a huge event. They made it on national TV, I think. Certainly on the local channels, I've seen a lot of coverage on that. But it runs from November 23rd through January 1st. It's at the Seawalk Pavilion. And let's see, there's some special events going on. Saturday, December 10th, there's a tuba Christmas at 1.
It's really good.
It's really good. It's okay. Music and dance until 6:30. Sunday, December 11th, from 3 to 6 will be more music and dancing. And Saturday, December 17th, Santa will be there at 2 p.m. And more music and dancing until 6:30. So you can get a lot of music and dancing in. Work off those calories from all these dinners, right? All partying. Save the date. So this is always a well-attended meeting. This is our State of the Beaches report, where all three mayors will be here to give us an update on what's going on in our beach communities, kind of what their plans are. This will be Curtis's first one, so looking forward to hearing from him. And that will be here at the beach. Also, our January meeting, it's actually going to change. We normally would hold it on January the 11th, but there's a conflict here at the beach, so we are having it held on January 18th. And at this time, we think it's going to be a State of the Dunes report from Kevin Brown and Kevin Bodge, right?
We haven't confirmed that.
Yeah, so that's still to be
It's
done, but just wanted to
TBD.
kind of let you know since that's not on here. Okay, I forgot to do this before we did the awards. I really want to acknowledge and thank our board members whose terms expired this year. Many have served on the board for multiple terms, and we've been extremely fortunate to have had such talented and dedicated board members, especially since we're an all-volunteer board and programs committee. Steve Piscatelli, Eileen Krimsky, Dane Gilbert, and Paul Herman. We really want to thank you all for your service and for your support of Beaches Watch. Back on track. And now for the highlight of our meeting. We're first going to hear from our 2021 Give Back donation recipient, yes, who is.
There's a typo.
I know. Okay, so we're not perfect, but that's
Sorry, that's my fault.
That's okay, not a problem. We want to hear from Lori Richards from our Beaches Emergency Assistance Ministry, commonly known as BEAM. And Lori will come up here and let me get your. So you can just use the arrows.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'd rather you figure it out.
It's actually works. It doesn't work. Sorry. My normal tech person's not here to show. So I'm having a lot of years myself.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much to all the members of the Beaches Watch organization for all the service that you provide to our community and just sort of helping keep our quality of life wonderful and our elected officials engaged with what the community is interested in. So I'm very grateful that you chose BEAM to be your recipient of your Give Back dollars this past year, and I'm pleased to share with you a little bit about what we've done with the funds that you provided for us. I hope that most of you know that BEAM so for many, many years, our primary core programs have been to offer rent and utility assistance, sometimes other assistance, with the goal of keeping people from becoming homeless. For a relatively small amount of funds, we can keep someone in their home, keep children at the same school, and the cost, if that doesn't happen, if somebody winds up in their car or winds up on the street, the cost to our community, never mind the cost of that individual's well-being, is so significantly more that we're very pleased that we're able to help keep our neighbors that just don't have a social safety net, don't have family, don't have emergency savings, from being able to weather the bumps in the road that many of us are able to manage with very little challenge. The economic stability part comes from our case management programs that are specifically designed for seniors, and also for single mothers who are learning to manage their finances, to be able to get a handle on how they're managing their money and hopefully be able to make better use of what they do have. Food assistance, quickly after Beam was founded, became an additional part of our emergency assistance. It's now sort of a maintenance ability. People can come to our pantry twice per month, and they get 3 meals for 3 days for each of the members of their household. Beam collects and just redistributes over 1 million pounds of food. And that is food that very likely would have wound up in the landfill. It's, for the most part, that is food that we collect from retail grocery stores. Many of us would not buy a gallon of milk on a sell-by date, but we know that we can redistribute that very quickly, and it still has plenty of shelf life for a family that might need that. This picture that you saw just a minute ago is our Mayport Road in Atlantic Beach facility. We actually expanded that. It used to just be a pantry. Now it's a full service center. We're able to help people with SNAP benefits, as well as do the vetting and the interviewing of the interview for financial assistance in addition to the food assistance. This is our Jacksonville Beach Pantry. We deliver to seniors out of these two pantries twice per month groceries for people that are homebound. Something we hadn't anticipated doing. It's one of those silver linings of the pandemic. At one point we were doing over 180 home deliveries at the very beginning, with Beach's dial-ride drivers delivering those groceries when they weren't taking people to the hairdresser or their nail appointments, and had lots of capacity. It's now down to about 60 to 70 individuals, with the majority of them living north of Atlantic Boulevard. This is our food bank. Many of you may have shopped in our 7th Avenue North thrift store and not even known that behind that is a very big facility, our food bank. We have 2 refrigerated trucks, and that's where the food that we collect from the grocery stores first comes to be looked at for their date and their safety. Inevitably, if we get eggs donated, there's 1 or 2 that are cracked. We have volunteers that will meticulously clean each of those eggs and the containers they go on, and make sure they get back in the right container so that people understand the right date. Safety is certainly a big concern as we are distributing food that we make available. And we have over 11 agencies that source their food for their food distribution programs. That could be Beach's Community Kitchen, it might be Mission House, and then food pantries that stretch all the way down into northern St. Augustine. This is an open-air delivery we call a mobile market. Many of them have been indoors before the pandemic. None of them have returned indoors, but we are at Mayport Elementary School, Anchor Academy, Capitol Hamlet, Beach's Neptune Baptist Church, and also St. John the Baptist Catholic Church one time per month. And this is an opportunity that people don't have to make an appointment. They can come if they're available, whereas to come into our bricks and mortar pantries, they do have to have an appointment. This is where you need to go tomorrow. This is our Grace Garden. For any of you that have not had the opportunity to go by and see it, it is adjacent to our main office, which is on 850 6th Avenue South in Jacksonville Beach. This is an older picture, because those boxes are our wooden boxes. This summer, we refurbished our garden. We have 65 raised beds. 3 of them had termites. And the rest of them, you can see that wood was kind of showing its age. They were about 10 years old. And we had volunteers who, in July and August, in the heat of the summer, box by box, rebuild each box out of tracks that we hope are going to last about 25 years. The reason they had to do it in the heat of the summer is we can't grow anything there. And if they did it now when things were cooling down, we wouldn't be harvesting, I think it was 27 pounds of broccoli today. So as difficult as that, dirty as that work was during the summer, the incredibly talented group of people. I don't know how many of you do DIY projects, but I think sometimes mine cost me more than having a professional do it. The gentleman that did this year, I don't think they wasted a foot of board length of these very expensive boards. They did such a fabulous job. We harvest between 7,000 and 8,000 pounds of vegetables. We'll probably be closer to the 8 with 7 when we have the termites, because that certainly affected what we've planted in those boxes. It really is lovely. You can go in the garden, bring lunch, and just have a chance to relax. If you just need some place to be a little calm, and hustle and bustle, and the weather is certainly cooperating. At Beam, it's over 1,000 households that we will help with a rent or a utility bill. The funds that we are spending are mirroring what happened in 20 and 2021. In all of 2019, before the pandemic, our budget for rent and utility systems was a little over $250,000. We are on pace to provide $1.5 million this year. And that is because as people went back to work and were able to pay their bills, those bills went up. And what we are seeing rents, when people's leases are up, we're seeing rents go from where people were paying $600 or $700 or $800 to $1,200 and $1,300 and $1,400 and $1,500. I'm sure you've experienced this with your electric bill. But what we saw with people coming in for help, maybe with a bill that normally would be under $100, it wasn't unusual to see $250. Remember, if you're low income, you probably don't have, you haven't replaced the clock on your windows, right? You have old appliances that are not energy efficient. And so as energy prices increased, our lower income neighbors may have felt that even more than we did. I'm grateful for this incredible community that we live in that is so generous and cares so deeply about the people that live next door to us, who do our hair, or who take care of our lawns, or the waitresses at the restaurants that we enjoy. We want them to be whole. And Beam is just a conduit for this community's generosity. And I am so proud to be partners with all of you in taking care of people who are sometimes in their very most desperate hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lori. If you have not been to their garden, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is amazing, the work and the amount of produce. How many pounds of broccoli did you?
I think it was 22 today.
2 pounds of
It's
broccoli.
incredible.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is amazing. And you are always looking for volunteers, correct? Even if you don't have a green thumb, they have a lot of people who can help you. I guess everybody can pull weeds, right? Okay, and now, for this year's 2022 recipient, we'd like to welcome Lori Anderson.
You're so sweet.
Yes. Yes, with the Beaches Council on Aging. Lori?
Thank you all so much. We are so thrilled to be this year's recipient of the Give Back donation from Beaches Watch. This is an incredible organization, and it means a lot to be following Lori and Beam, because we do work closely together, and pre-me, we did partner with them and delivered food to people who couldn't get out during COVID. So it's just so wonderful, the Beaches area and what we do and how we depend upon each other. So our mission is that we improve the quality of life for senior residents of the Beaches, connecting them to people, services, and places with care. That's the biggest piece, is we do it with care. And do you want to put arrows? Sorry, I didn't get the insurance. This one. Hey, look at that. So in the beginning, many folks don't know that Beaches Council on Aging started in 1975. I call it Beaches Council on Aging because that's the agency. Dial-A-Ride is one of our programs. Now granted, 80% of the people know us as Dial-A-Ride, and that's okay. But as long as when we say Beaches Council on Aging, you know what we mean. But these gentlemen saw a need and started bringing people to their medical appointments and wherever they needed to go, seniors who couldn't drive, and started doing it in their own cars. One gentleman did it, and then he got his friends, and so on and so forth, and then the next thing you know, they purchased a van. I can even see the little rust marks on the hinges there. They got a used van, and there was Dial a Ride born. So officially, I think that was in actually 1985 is when they got their first vehicle. So that was really exciting, and once again, as true as it is today, with the help of the community. So today, we received a brand new, the very first brand new, off the conveyor belt at the Ford department, van from the FDOT. Now, I have never liked federal grants, but let me tell you that this organization is amazing. They have helped us so much, and I am very proud to say that we abide by the safety rules of the FDOT, which are really what we were doing anyway. So it's very exciting to know that safety is number one, and that's what we were doing in the first place, but now we are supported by the FDOT. We actually have 2 more coming, but because of COVID and those ships that were out and the truckers who were short, and the whole story, we unfortunately got in that line. But by our 50th anniversary in 2025, I pray that we will have 3 brand new vans. So keep your fingers crossed for us. That's some of our board and some of our staff. And I just want to say the gentleman on your left, my right, that's Jamal Afzal. And Jamal is currently in Ohio with eye surgery. And he's laying, I want to say he's laying flat on his back, but he's actually laying flat on his stomach. I'm giving a shout out to Jamal because hopefully he will see this YouTube. And I just want to say thank you to him. And I think my drivers and everyone on staff would agree that he has been an incredible influence on not only our staff, but our riders and everyone who comes in contact with us. So we're praying for Jamal, and he'll be back after the first of the year. But we just wanted to say how special he is. So what have we been doing? So we expanded our fleet. So they had 1 van. And I hear these horror stories. In fact, someone, I think it was in an Atlantic Beach meeting, someone actually said in front of me, "Oh yeah, I don't call Dial a Ride because they never come on time." And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, wait a minute, we come on time now. We always do, but that was because they had 1 van. We have 3 vans and a car. So we will always be there on time. But we expanded our fleet and took the delivery of that brand new one. And so we're expanding. We also got to expand our service areas. So with an agreement they had with Mission House, they were going to Sawgrass Village, because if any of the Mission House homeless folks got a job, they couldn't get to Sawgrass Village. So I actually made an agreement with Gary Tiller, who I took over for. But I partnered with our St. Johns County Council on Aging, who are absolutely wonderful, and asked if we could go all the way through to Ponte Vedra, and they said sure, because we don't go there. So very excited to do that. And you all know that we go from Mayport down to Ponte Vedra on this side of the intercoastal, except if you need to go to Mayo. We'll go across the ditch to Mayo. Another exciting thing we did this year is we invested in an online scheduling program called TripMaster. And let me tell you what a feat that was. Because in calling these companies, and they're like, well, how many trucks do you have in your fleet? And it's like, no, these little vans. And so this worked out very well, and it's working out well, and we learn different things each and every day, and our drivers have their schedule on something called Periscope on their phone, and it's like, welcome to the 21st century. So we're up and running. We also expanded our service to operate on Saturdays. Now, right now, we don't operate for everyone, but we operate for a very important segment of our riders, which is our dialysis patients. We take dialysis patients Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the Tuesday, Thursday people didn't have anyone on Saturdays. And I'm like, why, we gotta do something. And so we did. We got a grant, we were able to start on Saturdays, and while they're waiting for the dialysis patients to get done with their treatments, we take seniors from Pablo Towers and Pablo Hamlet who can't drive over to Walmart. So we do a little trek over there. And we will plan in 2023 to expand that to, we're going to test it and see that if we had regular people calling on Saturday, and we're going to see how that turns out. We added a new program. So the first time in 48 years, we added a program besides Dial-A-Ride. When I first came here, I gathered all the senior folks together, agencies together, and said, what do you guys need? What can we do? Considering the fact that we have one little office at the senior center, I work from home because I can't fit in the office, and there's nowhere really to gather people or to gather volunteers. So what they said was, we need one place to have all of the senior information that we can call, or someone can call, the senior can call, and get services. Now, I know someone's saying, well, there's Elder Service, and yes, we partner with them, and they're absolutely wonderful. But you guys know that the Beaches is a little different. So the Beaches knows us, and the Beaches trusts us. So they're going to call us. They won't call someone that they don't know. So now we have Beaches Senior Network, and it's the same number, but you just press 2 instead of 1, and you can get information on, you need a ramp built at your house. A lady called one time and wanted to know where to get her cat spayed. So we do just about anything, and if we don't have the answer, we will find it for you. So Maria Gage is our information coordinator, and she takes care of that. This is our board of directors, who I wish Pat would stand, because Pat's on our board. Pat's over there, can you stand up? That's Pat. And she is an incredible consultant to me, and she's our secretary, and she keeps us afloat. And I just have to tell you that this board is outstanding in that anything that you need, they are there for you. For those of you who knew Catherine Latham, she's the one who hired me. And if you remember, she was the Jax Beach mayor's wife. And she ran Beaches Council on Aging several times. She would go away and they'd call her back. And she'd go away and they'd call her back. So we made her a president emeritus, and she will always be with us. But we have an outstanding group of folks. Vicki Wyckoff is our current board president and just an outstanding leader. Deborah Waters, you know, is with Beaches Pablo Hamlet and Pablo Towers. Marty Terrell is a CPA, so of course she's our treasurer. Catherine, Lori Cordell is our legal advisor. Brandon Forshino has his own ad company. Dr. Rick Block was just absolutely wonderful during COVID. I needed to know, what do we do and what are the practices, and how do we make sure our riders are safe. So he was terrific. Rick Mahaffey works with our PR and takes pictures and does stories on our folks, our riders. And Amanda Patch, many of you may know, she's with the big chamber downtown, but she started with the Beaches Chamber. So it's great to have her on board. Our staff, and actually I'd like our drivers to come up, if you would please. I already mentioned Jamal. Bill's not here. Tom is not here. Bob is actually filling in for Jamal. Mark is not here. But we do have Clyde, and we do have Whitney. And I got to tell you that these guys are outstanding. And I just wanted you to say just a little bit about what you encounter during the day and just what you like to do, and if you have any anecdotes or stories.
Okay, sure, I'll go first. I've been a driver since I think June. I retired last year and stumbled on Dial-A-Ride It's been a life-altering experience for me. And what I've learned is that, we're not just providing the ride, the transportation. They can get that from Lyft or Uber or wherever, if they can afford it. But what we provide is, I think, familiarity, trust. They trust us. You mentioned care. All of us truly do care about the riders. It's one thing to say this, but I'll give you just two quick examples, and they were both impactful on me. We started picking up a rider about 2 months ago, dialysis, and his wife would come out with him to the bus. And when we first started picking him up, she was always in tears because she had to go to work and she couldn't be with her husband. And he was kind of shaky, to begin with. But it was always difficult, and it was really important to reassure her that everything was going to be okay. Well, fast forward a couple months later, and there are no tears. She trusts us. She's happy to see us there, and that's the way these relationships evolve. And I had another one just yesterday. It was a daughter taking her mother to the hospital. They were getting results from a biopsy, and the mother was our first ride. That's what it was. It was her first ride, and she was very nervous, and she was shaking, and her daughter was nervous. And once they realized that we were there, and we were going to take care, and we were going to help her get off the bus and walk to the hospital door, it made the rider feel good, and it also gave their daughter a lot of confidence that when she handed her over to us, it's all good, we're going to get you. And it really becomes a lifeline. There's a familiarity, I think I mentioned before. And a lot of times it's the only opportunity that they have to socialize during that day. And when you drop them off, you know that they're going into most likely an empty apartment or an empty house or a home, and knowing that the next interaction you have with them is their opportunity to step away from that and talk to someone that they know. It's pretty special stuff.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Clyde. I'll just augment a little bit what Clyde shared. What I really appreciate about working for Dial Ride is it makes me very humble. It's a regular exercise in humility and deep gratitude for these two great legs I walked in here, right? So many things that everybody in this room, whether you mean to or not, just do every single day and don't even think about that. So many of the people that Clyde and I and the other guys aren't able to do, and we're able to help them do them. The doctor, the dentist, driving the beam, driving them to get their hair done, the bank, you name it, we will go and they will know us and be glad to have us take them to wherever it is they need to get to. It's really just it's a fabulous organization.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you so much. I just want to acknowledge one of our past drivers is here, Joanne Mattingly, used to drive for us. So I want you to know that it's not just men. Women can drive too, so just FYI. And I want to acknowledge another very important employee who, she is the hallmark of Beaches Council on Aging. She assists Maria, who's our information coordinator. But Miss Joanne Kraft is here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Could you stand up? Joanne, when did you start with Dial Ride?
It's been over 20 years. I don't know the exact date. I came to work one day a week. And the rest is history, as they say. I stayed longer.
And she's been with us ever
Yeah,
since,
I've
and
been
she's
there a long
awesome.
time.
Thank you so much, Joanne.
You were welcome.
Appreciate it. I was just saying that someone unfortunately called last week because their husband passed away, and they wouldn't tell any of us. She asked specifically for Joanne, and wanted to tell Joanne, so that was exciting. So who and when and where do we serve folks? So we do Beaches senior residents who can no longer drive or disabled adults over 18. I know that you know a neighbor, a friend, a relative, somebody who needs our service. In the back table before you go, please, please, don't take just one, take a bunch of our little flyers. And I actually keep them in my purse. And when I go to the grocery store and I see like a daughter with a mother, and I'm like, hey, if you ever can't, drive her here, So just to let people know, and that's the biggest thing, is how we've grown over the last couple of years that I've been with Beaches Council on Aging, because we're just telling people what we do. So I'm charging all of you to please tell your friends and neighbors, and again, take as many of those things as you can, please, please. And guys, if I miss anything, fill in for me, okay? We operate Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 3:30. Now, we usually the guys get there about 7:45. And our dialysis people are usually the first ones that we take. But we ask, it's just easier if your first appointment isn't until 8:30. If it's 8 o'clock, we'll work it out. And then the last appointment is 3:30. The reason why is that, okay, so if we pick you up at 4:30 and we're done, we don't want to be driving in the 5 o'clock business traffic and make you late or whatever. So that's why. And then, as I said, we do some things on Saturdays, and we're going to expand that in 2023. We are the easiest transportation company for seniors. All you have to do is pick up the phone and dial the number and press 1. You don't have to fill out a form. You don't have to qualify. You don't have to do anything except to be over 62 or over. And someone goes, well, what if they're not 62? And I said, look, if a 35-year-old is coming on the bus, we may have a conversation. But other than that, let's trust people. And we do ask 3 days prior. And the reason for that, you usually know, you get your doctor's appointments months in advance, right? The reason for that is we're so busy. We are so busy. We're doing 20, 21 trips a day. And we're waiting for that other van to come. So please call us, and there's no waiting. You can call us, we'll book you the same day that you call. You don't have to wait to be qualified. Anywhere you want to go, from Mayport down to Ponte Vedra, across to Mayo, anywhere. You want to go see a friend, you want to go see. I am learning that in some of these senior residence homes, they have a van, and they'll take you to your medical appointment. But I actually had a friend of mine tell me that she went to go pick up a pair of shoes, and it took a little longer because the shoes weren't ready. And when she got back home, the driver from her residential place said, that'll be $125. She handed him the shoes, no I'm kidding. But, it's like, we're $5 donation for a round trip. So if you don't have the $5 this week, we'll kick you off the bus. This is a service that we're doing for the community. And what do our riders say about us? The service you provide to so many people like me who otherwise would be without transportation. I am most grateful for it, for how nice and caring you all are. Many, many things. I can't tell you when I answer the phone in the office, just incredible things that they say about these wonderful drivers, and about Joanne and everyone that they talk to. I tell them the patient style ride will never leave you behind. They're 100% accurate. They make sure their clientele is treated right. Make sure you're taken care of, and I recommend Dial-Ride to everybody who has medical issues who doesn't have a ride. Thanks to all your drivers and volunteers who help us arrive at destinations we would otherwise not be able to visit. I thank Dial-Ride and all of you that do for us at Public Towers. So they are very grateful, and we are grateful to be able to do this You can find out more information on our newly designed website. We are also on Facebook and Instagram. My card is back there. You can contact me anytime. If you know of anyone who has an absolutely spotless driving record within the last 7 years, has some free time on their hands. Most of our positions are part-time. And the reason being, our schedules are different each and every day. So some of our guys work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Some guys work Tuesday, Thursday. It just depends, and it makes it easier because then you're off when you want to be off, and we have employees when we need employees. So we are always looking for qualified drivers. You do not need a CDL. You only need a regular driver's license. And we also need volunteers for our Beaches Senior Network. If you want to work from home and call a senior once a week and just find out how they're doing, that's our Beaches Senior Network. So we want to thank Beaches Watch very, very much, and all of our supporters who are just absolutely amazing. When they find out what we do and who we serve, it's very, very exciting. But we thank all these folks for being with us. And I thank you tonight for listening. And again, thank you to Beaches Watch for selecting us for this year. Thank you.
So we have that on the film. Video. Thank you, Lori. That was just a fabulous presentation, and I have to have a personal testimony that my mom used Dial Ride when she was alive, and she loved it. And Joanne knows that, certainly, because you've been there long enough to get her calls. So that concludes our program for tonight. Remember that it's videotaped. It will be, you can access it on our website, beacheswatch.com, on our YouTube channel. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Are there any questions?
No, but I have an announcement. It's not a good one, but those of you who know Joyce Freeman, her brother passed away today.
Yes, thank you. Which is, she's not here. So we'll keep her in our thoughts and prayers. I know he's been battling long-term illness. And any other thoughts, any other comments? Okay. So that concludes our meeting for tonight. Yes?
I
Ms.
do have a
Golden?
question. Can you just explain to everybody how the donation is going to be used? Because I think I kind of understood it but you're going to use it for adding another vehicle to the Trip Master, I think.
Oh,
and so what does that mean?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, see, I just needed a reminder. Sure.
I figure there's more to it that would
Thank
be
you very much, yes. Trip Master, as I said, is our online scheduling program, and it's absolutely amazing because instead of figuring out who's going where on which bus by hand and writing it down, you just input it into the computer and you push a button and poof, it kind of sort of does it on its own. Brittany's going, that's not how it works.
It's magic.
It's magic, yes. But for every vehicle that you add, there's an extra cost. And since we're going to be getting the new vehicles from FDOT, we are very grateful that Beaches Watch is able to help us with that because that will be instrumental. We also hope to get, there is an app that the riders can have so that they'll get a text when the rider or the driver is on his way. And they'll get a text the day before that will pick you up tomorrow at 9:30. So that saves a lot of time and a lot of effort. And 99.9% of our riders have phones because a lot of them call us when they're done with their appointment to come and pick them up. So yes, so thank you.
Lord. Any other questions before we wrap up for this year? So I wish everyone, well, we wish everyone happy holidays. Please